Now, children, let's continue with the blue bead. In last paragraph, I had explained that these women, along with the Sibia, they all were just passing the river and they were just chatting and laughing with each other. So when they were just going near to that place where they just going for the grass cutting, noise frightens crocodile. The big mugger did not move, and all the women crossed in safety to the other bank. So whenever in a crowd people they move towards the river, then crocodile they do not just come near to the bank and they can just pass that river safely. Here they had to climb a still hillside to get at the grass, but all fell to with a will and sliced away at it wherever there was foothold to be had. Here they had to climb a still hillside. Once they crossed the river, still they had to just climb the hillside to get the grass, but all fell to with a will and sliced away at it wherever there was foothold to be had. They could have just fell down also if there was a foothold is there. Down below them ran the broad river, pouring powerfully out from the deep, narrow pools among the cold cliffs and shadows spreading into warm shallows lit by kingfishers. Great turtles lived there, and mahseer, weighing more than 100 pounds. Whenever they were just crossing the river, down below them ran the broad river also, pouring powerfully out from its deep, narrow pools. Among the cold cliffs and shadows were shown into the river, spreading into warm shallows lit by kingfishers. Kingfishers are the fishes. Great turtles can be found in the river, those who are living there. Mahasir, a kind of a big fish weighing more than 100 pounds. Crocodile too, sometime you could see them lying out on those slabs of clay over there, but there were none to be seen at the moment. So you could found these all animals, water animals there near to the river, but when they just go in crowd, you will not find anyone that moment. Where Sibia was working, wind coming across hundreds of miles of trees cooled her sweating body, and she could look down over the river as if she were a bird. When they were passing, Sibia was just sweating just because of the cool air. Her sweat, her body just became cool with the cool wind, and she could look down over the river as if she were a bird, although she did not dare stop for a moment. Under her mother's eye, her imagination took her in swooping flight over the bright water and golden air to the banks where she had played as a child. But Sibia could not stop anywhere just because her mother was just looking at her that she should not stay to look after the beauty of the river and air and everything. So she was supposed to just go along with them for cutting of the grass, and she could not enjoy there the beautiful nature. In those cavelets above the high water mark of the highest flood, she had stored some little bowls molded of clay. While they hardened, if there were anything that could be used for coloring, they would look fine, painted with marigolds and elephants. When they cross those rivers, then Sibia finds many of the things, just like some small caves also. There was molded with the clay. Some bowls were made out of clay, and they were just kept for hardening, just like the potters they make the clay utensils. The same way these bowls were made out of there. They were just kept in the sunlight for hardening. And she thought if these could be painted with marigold flowers and elephants, they would look much more beautiful, colorful, and bright. Ah, child, the sharp word, the glare of her mother's angry, sweating face pulled Sebia back to work, and they toiled on. Once Sebia stopped somewhere to look something, her mothers were just glaring, looking to her, and she says, means her eyes says that she just go back to her work, and she must do the hard work. But at last it was time to go back to see to their animals and the evening meal. The loaded women set out to cross the river again. Now it's time to go back to their home. They were just loaded with the grass and they have to just cross the river again. Sebia hung back. She would just dawdle a bit and run and see if the little clay cups were still there in the cave, waiting to be painted and used. But Sebia, you can say she was ultimately a child. She was having these kind of fascination towards the new experiences. When they were just going back to their home, she thought that she must have a look of the clay bowls or cups which they were just kept in sunlight to be hardened. She thought that they must be have painted now. So she was just not running after her mother and women. She was just dawdling. She was just taking a pause over there, and she just wanted to look those clay bowls. Although the women were now tired and loaded, they still talked. Those in front yelled to those behind. They crossed the river safely and disappeared up the track into the trees. On the other side, even their voices died away. These women were very tired. Still, they were talking to each other. They were loaded with the grass also, and their voice was just looking died away. But when they were just going back, they were looking tired, and their voices were also very slow and tired. Silence fell that time. Evening was just evening was there, so the silence fell. Sebia came down alone to the stepping stones. The light of evening was striking up the gorge, pink into the ultraviolet shadows. Now that the sun was off it, the water poured almost invisible among the stones with no reflection to show where it began. The night was falling, the evening was falling that time. The light of evening was striking up, and the you see the writer, she has explained the scene of the evening time. Ultraviolet shadows, they have just turned into the pink color. Pink color has just turned into the ultraviolet color, means the evening time. Darkness was falling all around. Now that the sun was set, the water poured almost invisible. The water could not be seen. The reflection of anything could not be seen into the water. Sebia stepped onto the first stone. So, into the river, on the shallow part of the river, the stones were kept so that the people, they can just step on those stones, and they can just cross the river. So she was stepping first stone. She was heavily weighed, her muscles stretched and aching. The haycock squeaked in the packed dry grass and dug into her collarbone so close under the skin. In spite of the sari bunched up to make a pad. So she was having a lots of load of that grass. Also, her collarbone was aching. She was feeling kind of a pain in her collarbone, in her shoulders and neck. And her sari has just bunched up to make a pad. Her sari, she has just pulled up her sari near to her knees. When she was halfway over, she put her load down on a big boulder to rest and learned breathing on the leaned breathing on the fog. So she was tired, so she had put that big load of grass on a one boulder, on a one place to rest on, and she leaned over there for taking a breath. At the same moment, a Gujjar woman came down with two gharas to the water on the other side in order to get the good clean water which would quickly fill both gharas to the top. Without sand, she walked onto the stepping stone. When this girl Sibia was resting, one of the Gujjar women, she came to fetch up her ghadas or pitcher. She was within a yard of the crocodile when he hunched at her. When she was just trying to fetch the ghada, the crocodile attacked on lady. Up out of the darkling water heaved the great reptile, water slushing off him, his livid jaws yawning and all his teeth flashing as he slashed at her leg. So the crocodile attacked her and he has just cashed her leg into his teeth. That reptile means that crocodile. The woman screamed, dropped both brass pot uh, with a with a clatter on the boulder from whence they bounced to the water, and Sibia saw them bob away in the current. Oh, the too good vessel gone. Then woman started screaming, and all of a sudden all the brass pots they have just fallen down into the river. But Sibia was thinking how beautiful, and these two brass pitcher was so good and they have just fallen into the water. She could not see that her leg was stuck by the crocodile's mouth. The Gujjar woman recoiled from the crocodile, but his jaws closed on her leg at the same moment as she slipped and fell on the bone breaking stone and clutched one of the timber logs to save herself. When Gujjar woman was in the capture of the crocodile, she just tried to just pick up a one timber means a kind of a log, wooden log. She was hanging. She clutched that. She hold that timber to save her life, and the crocodile was stretching her leg, and she was just stretching herself towards the timber. So the kind of a struggle was just going between that Gujjar woman and crocodile. The log jammed between two boulders with the woman clinging to it and screaming while the crocodile pulled on her leg, thrashing his mighty tail bang bang to and fro in great smacking trails as he tried to drag her free and carry her off down into the deeps of the pool. Blood spread everywhere. The log jammed between the two boulders were there in between two boulders means the rocks between the two rocks, that log, that wooden log was just jammed, so that that woman was just saving herself and the crocodile was just pulling her inside the water, and he was just tapping his tail also with a sound of bang bang, and he just tried to just drag her into the deep water. And what happened in between, when he just had a mouth or teeth around her leg, so the blood was just coming out from her leg. Sibia sprang. Sibia jumped. When she saw that she is in danger, then Sibia sprang or jumped. From boulder to boulder, she came leaping like a rock goat. Sometimes it had seemed difficult to cross these stones, especially the big gap in the middle where the river coursed through like a bulge or grass. But now the came on wings, choosing her footing in mid-fare without even thinking about it, and in one moment she was beside the shrieking woman. So the Sibia was jumping like a rock goat. That time it's difficult to just cross, to just step on those stepping stone, but this time she was so quick. She was running just like a rock goat, and she could just reach near to that woman within a minute. In the in the boiling bloody water, the face of the crocodile, fastened round her leg, was struggling to and fro and smiling. That crocodile, the crocodile, it had just caught her leg, and the blood was there in the water, and there was a kind of a tug of war was just taking place of the like the to and fro. The lady was just pushing the crocodile back, and the crocodile was just trying to snatch that lady inside the deep water. His eyes rolled on to Sibia. One slap of the tail could kill her. So once the crocodile saw the Sibia is near, the crocodile could slap its tail so that this girl could not do that. But what did the crocodile did not do anything. He struck up shot the water 20 feet and fell like a silver chain. Once he has just put his tail into the water jumped up so high it was just looking like a silver chain when it just came back into the river with lots of flow. It jumped up and again it just came down. Again, the rock jumped under the blow, but in the daily heroism of the jungle, as common as a thorn tree, Sibia did not hesitate. But Sibia used to be a girl of the jungle, so it was not a kind of a any extraordinary job. It was common for her. She did not hesitate to come forward. She aimed at the reptile's eyes with all the force of her little body. She drove the hayfork at the eyes, and one prong went in right in while its spear scratched past on the horny cheek. Scratched past on the horny cheek. What happened? She has just put the hayfork in the eyes of the crocodile, as in the starting writer told that these are the soft part of the crocodile underarms and the eyes. So the scratched passed on the horny cheek also. The crocodile reared up and in convulsion till half his lizard body was out of the river, the tail and nose nearly meeting over his stony back. Then he crashed back, exploding the water in an uproar of bloody foam. He disappeared. What happened? That crocodile, a kind of a lizard, they are also the reptile animal. So he was like a lizard body. His body part was just like a stony black. Then he crashed back when his eyes was hurt by the hayfork. It took a turn back. It uproared of bloody foam. He disappeared. From that bloody foam, blood was just coming out of the leg of that Gujjar lady, and the crocodile disappeared quickly. He would die not yet, but presently, though his death would not be known for days, not till his stomach, blown with gas, floated him. Then perhaps he would be found upside down among the logs at the timber boom with pus in his eyes. The writer explains further that maybe he would not die right now, but the time will come after some time he will must die, and his body will just come float on the surface of the water, or maybe it will be among the logs at the timber boom with pus in his eyes. Once his eye is just hurt, injured, then its eyes will be having a pus, so that just because of the pus and hurt, that crocodile could die. Sibia got her arms round the fainting woman and somehow dragged her from the water. She stopped her wound with sand and bound them with rag and helped her home to the Gujjar encampment when the men made a litter to carry her to someone for treatment. So Sibia, she took that fainting woman towards her home. She gave a kind of a treatment to her wound also with her rag and with sand. She put some sand and rag on the wound, and she helped her to make her return into her camp. Then some men from her camp, they just went for a treatment to call the doctor. Then Sibia went back for her grass and sickle and fork. The fork was lying in the river, not carried away luckily, and as she bent to pick it up off the water, she saw the blue bead now, with the sun nearly gone, but a no color white blue, and its shape wobbling in the movement of. So once she was just going back to just take her sickle from that place where she had just saved the life of that Gujjar woman, there she found a blue bead. So that blue bead is just, she considered that is very expensive for herself, because you see that she was a child. She did not she did not think that it was the courageous work she did, just like she saved the life of a one woman. She was not happy on that particular courage what she did. That is just amazing what she did, but she was not that much happy, or on that part she was happy that she has just got a blue bead. So this is called the childhood, this is called the childness. The stream, in movement in the stream, she reached her arm down into a yard of the cold silk water to get it, missing it first of all because of refraction. First she tried to just pick that blue bead, she missed. Then in second time she got that bead from the water. Then there it lay in her wet palm, perfect, even, pierced piers ready for use, with the sunset shuffled about, made it the gold dust. All her heart went up in flames of joy. She was feeling happy that it's easy to just penetrate in this bead, because already there was a hole in this, and the sunset took place already, and it was just giving the sun, it was giving the atmosphere of a gold dust. All her heart went up in flames of joy. She was happy to get that blue bead. After a bit, she twisted into the top of her skirt against her tummy, so she would know if it burst through the poor cloth and fell. She tucked it into her tummy so that it should not be fall down from her cloth. Then she picked up her fork and sickle and the heavy grass and set off home. Then she picked up her all things and she just started going back to her work. What a day, she thought. Ah, that was a good day. She found the blue bead. Her bare feet smudged out of the wriggle mark of snakes in the dust. There was the thin singing of malaria mosquito among the trees now, and this track was much used of night by morose old Makna elephant, the tuskless one, but Sibia was not thinking of any of them. The stars came out, she noticed. When she was just going back, that was the evening time. The dark was fallen all around, and mosquitoes, many types of mosquitoes were there singing, and some tuskless elephants were also present, but she was not thinking any of them. And the stars came out, she noticed that it has just become too dark and the night is just going to fall. On the way back, she met her mother, out of breath, come to look for her and scolding. When she was just going back to her home, then her mother, she came back again after she went to home. Then she did not find the Sibia there, and she came back again to look after her. Then she found the Sibia, she is just coming back. I did not see till I was home that you were not there. I thought something must have happened to you. She was worried about her. She thought that something has happened to Sibia. That's why she did not come back to her home. And Sibia, bursting with her story, cried, "Something did. I found a blue bead for my necklace. Look." And she told her mother that she has just found the blue bead for her necklace. She was so happy to get that blue bead only, but she was not aware what kind of a courageous work she has done, and how daring the girl was, and how she helped the and saved the life of a one woman. So this is all about the blue bead.